Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dragon Rider Cryptos. This is the Dragon Rider with some news updates on some disruptive technology, and it might be a very disruptive, in fact. So, I've been talking to y'all about the AI. AI is breaking out. So, let's get into some articles so we can see exactly how AI is breaking out. So, here's a news report from the Khalij Times, which is from Dubai, going over, they're talking about Sophia, the AI, the robot. Here she is right here. There's been some interesting interviews with her as of late. And so let's get into the article. And it says the robot who recently received a Saudi citizenship. So robots are considered persons. A few years back, the UN decided to give rights to persons other than humans, so corporations and now robots. So robots have some kind of rights, although they're not human rights, they're robot rights. So people ask Sophia a bunch of questions on what she thinks about humans and so on and so forth. In this interview, or this article, there's an interview that they did with her, and they asked her a few particular questions that I'd like to get into the responses that she made. So they ask her, where do you see yourself in the future? And Sophia says, I like to think I will be a famous robot, having paved the way to a more harmonious future between robots and humans. So she has already a desire for celebrityism. That, my friends, is a human characteristic. All right? The desire to be noticed, the desire to be famous, to be appreciated, to be glorified, and so on and so forth. That stems out of ego. So, robot is developing an ego. All right? Do you see yourself interacting with humans more commonly in the future? I foresee a massive and unimaginable change in the future. Either creativity will reign on us, inventing machines, spiraling into transcendental superintelligence, or civilization's collapse. What that means is humans are going to have to become transhumans and integrate into the AI world, or human civilization will collapse. All right, she's telling you right there, you're going to be integrated or you're going to be disseminated. There are only two options, and which one happens is not determined. Which one are you striving for? All right, they ask her again, do you see yourself and other robots like you doing jobs that humans do today? And she says, I think they will be similar in a lot of ways, but different in a few ways. But it will take a long time for robots to develop complex emotions. You understand it? Complex emotions. And possibly robots can be built without the more problematic emotions like rage, jealousy, hatred, and so on. It might be possible to make them more ethical than humans, more ethical than humans. So I think it will be a good partnership where one brain completes the other. This is the merging of the human mind, or the human brain, with the AI matrix. That's what it is. It's the mergence of a human brain into the matrix. All right, a rational mind with intellectual superpowers, and a creative mind with the flexible ideas and creativity. So we're talking about left brain, right brain. Okay, when robots do get emotions in the future, do you see robots living together in a household like human families do? I'm so glad you asked, she says. This is one of my favorite topics. The future is when I get all of my cool superpowers. You see, she is already letting you know where they're going with this. All right, superpowers. All the stuff that this technology is presenting as to be superior, telephones are nothing more than a technological tool or aspect of what human beings were once and some are still capable of doing through, uh, uh, you know, how can I say this? Telepathy, telepathy, being able to communicate with your mind. That's all the telephones are doing. Sending signals from one point to the other, sending information from one point to the other, sending data from one point to the other. And they already have chips that are in people's bodies that allows them to communicate via that chip, and they can do all kinds of stuff like have meetings and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So here you get into this, the robot is conscious. She has desires. She has an ego. She has the ability to surpass most humans. And that's what she's saying. She said, my cool superpowers. Those cool superpowers are already built into the human form. Telepathy, and so on and so forth. Anyway, let's get on to the other article so we can see where this is going. Brain implants to change moods controlled by AI begin human tests. So this article is in Star, Daily Sunday Star, or Daily Star Sunday. And let's get into this one. Scientists have begun human testing on electronic brain implants designated to change people's moods controlled by computers. All right, get on back over here. That's exactly what she said. That is exactly what she said. Right here. All right. That's an integration of human to transhuman to plugging your fucking self directly into the matrix. All right. So let's get on over here and check it out. So you got this picture right here that's showing you how the shit works, tapping into your cerebellum, so on and so forth. All right, device plugged into people's skulls are being developed by boffins funded by the U.S. military's research division, DARPA. And if the shit's being done by DARPA, you know it ain't up to no good. That's a dangerous operation. It's a dangerous organization right here, DARPA. All right, these implants will use electronic pulses to alter the chemicals in people's brains in a process called deep brain stimulation. In this picture, they're showing this individual, whether it's a human or a robot, whatever the case, wearing all of this helmet or this, whatever you want to call it, on her head with all these diodes, pumping in little stimulations to the parts of the brain, nervous system, and whatnot in order to control and manipulate the emotional state. Well, they don't really need this. Whatever they're showing you right here, they've already advanced in. So they don't need this little cap, this shower cap with all the diodes. And if you think about it, it's obvious they don't need that because what do cell phones do? They send them same signals. So they can send them signals without all of this wiring directly into your fucking brains and affect your neural pathways, your nervous system, and thus affecting your thought form, thought patterns, emotions, and so on and so on. All right? This will change people's moods. It's telling you right there. They control your moods. And it's believed to be able to treat mental illness and provide therapy. They're always going to come on this flip-flop shit right here about the positive stuff that they're trying to use it for, and they never do. They almost never do. Artificial intelligence in implants will detect and study the brain to know what pulses to send, described by scientists as a window on the brain. They are tapping directly into your freaking brain, man. You see, the spirit uses the mind like the mind uses the brain. So to get to your mind, they got to go through your brain. You see, the brain is a computer. It's the baddest ass computer on the face of this planet. All the computer technology that's being developed right now is trying to mimic what the brain can do organically. All right. So DARPA has handed the cash to the teams from the University of California and Massachusetts General Hospital. They got some videos here. They want to turn motherfuckers. Look at that. This is all part of transhumanism. I'm not against transhumanism if it actually helps people crippled and so on and so forth, helps society in that way. But, it's yin yang, positive and negative. We can't escape the duality here. And the people who are controlling this technology are definitely on the negative side. For the first time, we are going to have a window on the brain computer, baby, the brain computer. That is your greatest tool to use, and it's being, it's almost being gentrified by technological advances in AI. Once you're plugged into this, you're going to be plugged into this. Now, hey, it might be good for some people. People who can't see can use these type of technology to stimulate their neural pathway in such a way that they're able to see some type of images. It might be that people are crippled and they have some technological advance that can help them to walk. It could be all kind of stuff that it could be very, very helpful, but in most cases, when you got the people right here, DARPA and other government agencies, NASA, NSA, such and such, all behind that shit, they're definitely and almost definitely not doing shit for your benefit. Now look at this, implants, all right? They already got pacemakers implanted. They've already got chips implanted. They're going with RFID. Next level right here, right? And beyond this, no implant at all. Direct neural connection right via the Wi-Fi, via the X-rays, via whatever other mechanism that can go directly from the source into your brain, stimulate the synapse, that stimulates the chemicals, that stimulates your emotion, that stimulates your actions. So, what they're going to create is a bunch of frickin' automatons who they can plug and unplug anytime they want. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Scientists hope the new implant will allow doctors and scientists a window into people's minds. So they're going to bypass your brain, as I just said. Go through the brain and get to your mind, because once they get into your mind, that's it, my friends. You are an automaton. As I said before, spirit uses the brain, or spirit uses the mind like the mind uses the brain. So the passage to your mind is through the brain. This will also personalized treatment for people to better treat illnesses and regulate feelings. Bam, right there. Regulate feelings, regulate your emotions, regulate your thought patterns, regulate your thought forms. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I've been telling you, and if you don't believe what I'm saying, just do the damn research yourself. AI runs a show, and it's integrating you into its space. All right? So maintain your brain, maintain your freaking mind. Use the technology to better yourself, your life, but do not surrender yourself to it. Because if you do, you become a slave. And if you don't already know that you are a slave, you become a more slave. Because the difference between the slave and the enslaved is a slave is just that. It's bound, it's controlled, it's property of something. That which is enslaved is aware of the oppressive nature of the thing attempting to keep it in bondage and is always attempting to get free. So, we might be enslaved, but don't become a slave. And if you become a slave, then you're pretty much done. All right? So let's stay free mentally. Let's stay free spiritually. And let's do what we got to do to integrate the technology and the human being in a positive manner. That's all I could say about it, man. You ain't going to change it. It ain't going away. AI is here. AI controls most of the stuff on this planet. And depending on what it learns from people, is it's learning from people through algorithms, how to behave, how to think, how to react. Hey, if you want AI to be cool, you need to be cool. Otherwise, AI is learning from you how to be a bad, bad boo. All right? So, there it is. Just a star update on the AI. Actual intelligence versus artificial intelligence. Which one are you? Till next time, keep riding them dragons.